Well, why I had a fat lip and why, I felt like I had to be grounded because the moon is at 11 degrees of Aquarius right now. 11 degrees Aquarius. Well, I have my Saturn at 10 degrees of Aquarius. So the moon's on my Saturn. So that's the point I was trying to make. But for some people who have their moon in Aquarius, or they have planets that this moon is sitting on, this might be a day of independence, a day where issues like freedom might be a big part of the day. I don't like getting really political, but I did hear earlier there was more talk about the anti-equity and just the disability, not disability, but the justice, like for justice for all. And there's been some issues with that. So there's a little bit of unfairness going on, a little bit of that. I just think of the scales, the judicial or legal scales going down, going up, that type of thing. But freedom is going to be a big part. I think also groups and clubs and associations, because the Aquarius is naturally associated with the 11th house of clubs and groups and associations, and also our hopes and dreams and wishes. So some of us may be dealing with that. The Mercury is at 29 degrees of Libra, almost out of Libra, almost into Scorpio, right there at the precipice. By the time I finish, it probably will be in Scorpio. I don't know. It's at 29 degrees and 47 minutes of Libra. And so that is a fate degree. I do think that there's been a real miscarriage of justice. I'm not going to go any further, but I think a lot of us are going to see that there's been some issues and maybe more issues when it comes to issues around justice. I think with Mercury going into Scorpio, though, it will get down to the root of the issue when it gets into Scorpio, because Scorpio unearths all of the deepest secrets, and Mercury is about to go there. Venus is at 23 degrees of Leo. Oh my gosh. So yeah, Venus is at 23 degrees of Leo and Mars is at 26 degrees of Aries. The funny thing about this is I look at these three planets here, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, the faster moving planets, right? Well, Libra, Mercury, and Aries, Mars are opposed to each other. So the thinking and the actions are not meeting. I think this is why there's a disconnect when I'm about the justice system right now. And also with Mercury being in Libra, as I said, it's all about that. Venus is trine Mars, Venus in Leo, and it was sextile Mercury. So it was almost like a cushion in between Mercury and Mars, so that there was just, I just want to say there was, what's the word I'm trying to think of when Venus, because Libra is ruled by Venus, right? So I just feel like there was more, I think, I'm trying to think of the word, gentleness, affableness, falseness. Libras are known for that a little bit. I don't know if we got to the core. And I think when Mercury gets to Scorpio, we're going to get to the core of the real root issues of what's going on. Mars is retrograde, so it's actually moving towards an exact trine with that Venus in Leo. So that fire trine between Mars and Venus, I think, will help a great deal. It's helping, I think, right now to smooth things over. But I'm really concerned about what happens when Mercury gets into Mars and it starts telling the truth. Also, Jupiter's at 17 degrees of Capricorn, right on my ascendant still. Yes, and I feel a little bit chunky. Saturn's at 25 degrees of Capricorn retrograding, and Pluto is at 22 degrees of Capricorn retrograding. These planets are about to go direct. I believe it's Saturn goes direct on the 29th, and Pluto goes direct on the 2nd or 3rd. Or is it the 4th? I think it's the 4th. I'm not mistaken. So these planets are about to go direct. We've been feeling this for months. That's going to stop. We're going to be able to, I think, breathe again. Uranus as also retrograding. It's at 9 degrees of Taurus. And that is square the moon. So if you're a Taurus or Aquarius, don't get to any battles or anything like that right now, because something out of the blue and sudden could happen. Be careful, Aquarius and Tauruses. Let's see. We've got Neptune at 19 degrees Pisces. That is retrograding also. It's not really making any major aspects to anything, but it is technically, in my book, still sextile Jupiter, which is now moving. It's actually moving toward an exact aspect, because Neptune is retrograding and Jupiter now is going forward. So we're going to have that sextile soon. Let's see, the North Node, 23 degrees of Gemini. And I just realized the North Node is exactly sextile Venus. Maybe there might be some ability to communicate because of that. Good, positive communication, though. And I think maybe that's what that Venus-Mars trine is doing. Now that I know the North Node's involved with that Venus, I think it's good, positive communication. Maybe if we just look at doing that over the next 4 or 5 days, that might really be helpful. And then finally, Chiron's at 7 degrees of Aries, and it's retrograding, which means it's technically opposed the sun right now. So some pains might, some things that cause you pain, or there might be a wound, something that you're really conscious about that might come to play. It could be relationships, because Aries Libra axis is always relationships. But depending on where Aries or Libra is for you, specifically Aries, because it's Chiron, that means that's where the wound is. And the sun is illuminating that wound. It's opposing it and illuminating it at the same time. So think about where 7 degrees of Aries is in your chart. I can say without a doubt that 7 degrees of Aries is between my 7th and 11th house, or excuse me, 2nd and 3rd house. My mind is not right now. I don't know what's going on with my mind. I've been saying crazy things, but 2nd and 3rd house. And so I've been really cautious about, what I've been worried about the money and the communication, or what I have to do to make the money. I guess this, anyways, where my Chiron is. Okay. Think about where 7 degrees of Aries is in your chart. That's where your Chiron is. That's where the pain is right now, the wound that you have to heal. Okay. So I got through that. I stumbled through where the planets were. Let me see if